What
Yes.
was the devolution revolution?
Y'all remember devolution revolution?
Yeah, the state needs more power than the federal.
Do you remember the president that
Kennedy? Or no, FDR.
Bush, no,
Reagan?
Reagan.
Oh.
Reagan was the president, believed that in fact the federal government had gotten too big and we needed to devolve or send some of these functions that the federal government was doing back to the states because they could do it better. Reagan never shrunk government, but he slowed the growth of it. Barack and Junior Bush have accelerated it again. Reagan and Clinton and Bush Daddy actually slowed it, but it's grown big, big, big again since. Looking at the federalism articles, just to hit on these really, really quick, you could argue that the stop and frisk article falls under federalism. You could argue that the pay to spray article falls under federalism because if you remember, federal, state, local, this would be a local policy. But as far as the Chapter 3 articles are concerned, we've got in here what? Please view the fetus, the Oklahoma abortion law. Remember, there were two laws, and oftentimes the classes were more divided as far as whether or not Oklahoma should require you to view an ultrasound before getting an abortion. They were almost unanimous against the second law that said that the doctor did not have to provide information about a birth defect or a health issue for the fetus that the mother was carrying. Both of these laws legal today or no? They were all struck down by Oklahoma court and they were not reviewed by the Supreme Court. Crackdown in Arizona, do you remember what that dealt with?
Yeah.
Papers, please. Is it legal?
If
No.
it's like a
Only
lawful
this happened
encounter.
with something else.
The papers, please.
It is legal. You actually can request the papers. You cannot stop somebody specifically to ask them for papers, but you've got to ask within the context of a lawful contact. So a traffic stop, if somebody calls for help, if somebody is the Good Samaritan that stops the man that's mugging grandma and stealing her purse, they could ask for papers and ultimately you could actually be removed. Last thing, and I'll just hit these really quick. Don't forget about the videos. And bear with me while this kind of heats up. Chapter 1 videos. Going back to this. There was the extra part of the Catholic confession, or the Catholic contract, I should say. You remember what the other part that was new from Cincinnati was?
If you attend at the gay marriage function and no support any.
If you appeared to support gay marriage, that in fact this is not a Catholic teaching and you could be fired for this, that was one. I gave you the video. It's a good video by Sarah, my former intern, explaining how to answer the short answers, but also explaining the Catholic school teacher one. Texas cheerleaders. I think that's pretty straightforward. It says in there that the cheerleaders keep winning. Melissa Nelson. Do you remember what the significance of was Melissa Nelson?
She was fired for being pretty.
She was fired for being too attractive. And this article basically lays out that it seemed like they were probably having an affair. And what did the Iowa Supreme Court do that they had never done before?
They agreed with it.
They what?
They agreed with it.
Well, they agreed with it, but there was something else that they did that they had never done.
They revisited the case.
They revisited a case without any new evidence, and then they reaffirmed the verdict a second time. So yeah, it's legal to fire somebody. We talked about who was on the California recall ballot already, but there is the copy of the recall ballot, so you can go back and take a look at that. In Chapter 2, the videos. The Schoolhouse Rock videos are in here with the declaration and the preamble, and there may not be any videos for federalism. Let's double check and make sure. Oh, the Seinfeld abortion. Did I tell y'all that?
No.
Okay, I may have shown some of you. If I did, this is the one where they're talking about putting your fist in the dough. Yeah, I don't believe I showed that to the 10 o'clock because I don't know what Robert would do. But I do think that I showed many of the other classes. And the idea on this one, if you remember, was talking about abortion and, when does life begin? Is it when the baby comes out or the pizza comes out of the oven? Or is it when you put your fist in the dough? And I'll let you figure the symbolism on that. Anybody with any other questions? Yes.
Okay, so we'll be like, could we study in the book?
This is just Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. And then the ideology stuff is just from the belief quiz that we did in class. Just to stress this, the biggest part of the exam will probably come from the articles. and it will probably be the short answers. The second biggest part will be the terms. Maybe 35 to 40% will come from the articles, 30 to 35% will come from the terms, and then that other 20 to 25% will come from the chapter questions. And the chapter questions are at the bottom of the chapter outlines. And you'll see these down here. And you'll also notice that chapter 2 is going to be the biggest chapter. Chapter 1 and 3 are going to be fair to Midland. And you'll probably get a couple of questions that deal with ideology. Yes.
The 10 o'clock class will have essays? Or
Say what now?
The 10 o'clock class will have essays?
Everybody will have some essays. Yes. Yes. Anything else?
Do we have to like memorize the name of like the cases if we wanna like use as a backup for
If you want to use names of cases, that's fine. I haven't stressed those that much during the course of things. If it helps you, I mean, that would be
Can we
impressive.
just, like imply to it, like
Like, give me an
like,
example what you mentioned.
maybe with the guy that his house had got on fire. I don't know the name of that case.
Yeah, there's not really a case on that, but if you, I'll know who you're talking about.
Okay.
If you use people's names, that would be a little more impressive.
Kind of like a case. We're talking about a case.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna go add these. You can go ahead and cut it now.